College of Commissioners will be launching their climate law. Greta Thunberg will be in the College of Commissioners. What would you say to young people about decarbonisation, about the climate? What is your view?
My view is very simple. We don't have a plan B for planet Earth. And we need to take over responsibility. Leaders in industry, politics need to take over responsibility to stop climate change as soon as possible. Yeah? And we also should convey the message to the younger generation: take over responsibility. Don't always wait that the neighbor is doing it for you. Yeah, so always pointing to the neighbors or to the neighbor state, etc. Very often it is said, yeah, we shouldn't do anything because China is having too much coal. But yeah, it doesn't really help us. Everybody needs to take over its fair share. It's very simple. Yeah, and this is something to convey the message. Guys, take over responsibility for what you are doing. Yeah, if it comes to transport, if it comes to plastic packaging, etc., etc.
Carbon neutrality 2050. Can Europe do it? Is it this target too ambitious?
I believe it's not at all too ambitious. I believe it's absolutely doable. Yeah, of course, we have to consider different sectors: industry, agriculture, transport, then households, etc. But from my perspective, it's absolutely doable. I personally believe we should be much more ambitious. That's my personal belief. And I believe it's also doable, especially talking to the transport. I believe we can do things much quicker than 2050. That's technically absolutely possible.
In the UK, when they suggested maybe phasing out internal combustion engines by, I think 2035, there was an uproar from the automotive industry. Do you think that was a false sense of injustice?
Well, I believe when the safety belt was invented, there was also uproar by the auto car industry. So I believe with that comment, I believe I said it all. Yeah. So I believe we have talking about 15 years they have right now to change from ICE cars. By the way, partially some of them are already producing electric cars. 15 years, I believe this should give them enough time, yeah, to switch their production over to electric cars. Taking into account you have Nissan in Sunderland, they're already producing electric cars. My Nissan Leaf comes, by the way, from the UK. So I believe this can certainly be done. Yeah.
And in Belgium, for example, we see that the company car, for example, it's still heavily subsidized. Do people have to give up their company car, or does the system just have to change?
Well, in contrast to some people, I don't believe that we should abandon cars in general or company cars in general. Yeah. So again, I'm not enemy of public transportation. Public transportation makes a lot of sense, but we have to see that we cannot put a rail to each village in Europe. That's not possible. It would economically not be feasible. Yeah, and also we have to see that even people living in big cities like Paris, Berlin, they want to go to the weekend to this place, and there the car gives you a degree of freedom public transportation cannot give you. But again, I'm not against public transport. It needs to be a right mix. Of course, we should do more in public transportation. I fully agree. But you cannot just say we don't need cars any longer. That's not realistic from my perspective. So I would say company cars should stay. It's an instrument to attract people for let's say, and from companies. That's what we are doing. We are getting a lot of, let's say, resume because some of them heard that we are giving electric cars. They liked it. Yeah, it's part of our package. So I don't see anything wrong to give company cars. And if the legislator, Europe, France, Germany, are giving incentives for more electric cars, I would rather, let's say, welcome something like that.